Right. Hey guys, what's up? It's Bradu. We're going to play Terra Invictus. So last session we met some Ettercaps and sweet talked them into spilling the beans on their plans to overtake Cammadoon. It's Ettercaps with giant spiders, and so they had some prisoner dwarves that they were trying to interrogate for information on how to get into Cammadoon or what Cammadoon's weaknesses are, all of that. So we told them we would help the Ettercaps if they would, but in order to do so, we need those other dwarves to come with us. And our plan is just to get them home. So we are back at Cammadoon. We have brought back um, we have brought back the dwarves that were being held prisoner and freed them at their home in Cammadoon. And we also have several orders of business in Cammadoon from basically from our previous exploits, going back quite a few sessions actually, because that dwarven vault took a good 8 sessions or something like that. So and that was like the big arc of the drow versus dwarves. Not that it's over, but it was definitely a big part of it. It's kind of an interesting parallel here between the Ettercaps trying to find, I think, an underground way or secret way into Cammadoon, and also the dwarven vault, the way the drow infiltrated, which I think I made clear in that episode back then, but I'm not 100%. The Underdark is under the vault, so the drow had come up. Yeah, I did talk about that. The drow had come up through the Underdark to get into the vault with some sort of giant magic tunneling system. So cool. So we're gonna have I guess what we need is a leader of Cammadoon. I pulled out this guy who looks kind of cool to me. It's actually one that I painted, and I'm not unhappy with it, except he's really sticky. I used too much varnish or something. But I thought he looks a little bit, a little bit like a, he's got a sword, but he could be a leader. Um, so what I didn't think of is a name for him. Is there a name I like? Necessarily, I've rolled a bunch already. So how about Dendor? Dendor can be the Cammadoon king. So King Dendor, I don't know if he's a king, but whatever. We tell him about the Ettercaps and that they're planning to infiltrate. That's great intel for them to know that something's coming and they'll have to prepare. We talk about the battle we had with the dwarves and that they took over a dwarven structure, or with the drow who've taken over a dwarven structure, some hexes away. But we can talk about that, and especially about that it connects to the Underdark. So that, I don't know if that'll come into play for us, but that definitely is an important detail, I feel like. What else? There was one other big thing I wanted to talk about. No, I guess those are the two main things. So I think, and we rescued the prisoners. So I think they are going to respond quite favorably in some regard. On the one hand, our three dwarves are free to roam the city, but I think they invite Nura as a trusted city dweller as well. Though the other two are still new, Alfonso and Heeg. Even though they're with us, I think they would probably still have to stay in the visitors' quarters who are not dwarves. And that's okay with us. But Nura and the three dwarves are welcome to roam the city, get what they need. I think that they are going to, for one thing, at the temple, reward us with a luck token. Bless us. So they're going to cast the blessing spell to give us an extra luck token. So if I hold that, I can hold that for sessions or whatever, but that means I'll still have 1 luck token in a session. But if I ever use 2, that extra one goes away. And I suspect there's some other kind of reward, but I think what I'll do is look at Solodark here. I don't even have it up. That's too bad. That's right. I'll use a different. No, I've been consistent with Solodark. I've been consistent with using Solodark. So let's stick with Solodark. I was going to use Mythic for a second. I'm a little tempted to do, especially since I'm having a hard time finding it. There we go. I didn't have it open for some reason. I know why I wanted to do the other one. It's got interesting twists, but I can still do that. Solodark, I can use the Solodark prompt and still use the twists from Mythic if I so choose. So let's go this way. Ooh, this is weird. My dice are weird for this. I'm missing one? I am. What the heck? Oh, there it is. Okay. You can't tell which goes with which, so that's a problem. So I'll try and roll them separately. Okay, so we have 94, 93. Interesting. 94, 93. Oh, that's funny. 93, 94 is build luck. So I was kind of like, how do they respond? Build luck. They give us a luck token. That's so funny. 94, 93 is change goal. Maybe I have a way to interpret that. Maybe what that means, this is very different than what I kind of expected. Maybe that means we can sort of drop these quests for now because we've handed it off to the bulk of dwarves at Cammadoon, and they're going to deal with the Ettercaps, and they're going to deal with the drow, maybe trying to seal off that enclosed area, because I hadn't decided really if I'm heading back over there. So this might be an opportunity for me to take the party in a completely different direction. I kind of like that. So it's going to change our goal. We're putting these situations now are Cammadoon situations who probably have connections to dwarves. So the dwarves and drow battle will wage on with us doing something different for at least the time being. Okay, so what is that going to be? That means I need to pick a different direction to go, maybe. I also do feel like they would reward us somehow, because this is actually a huge thing that we did with the drow. Clearing out that dungeon and discovering how the drow were infiltrating dwarven structures and things like that. So I do feel like that would warrant a significant reward. And on that note, I think what I'll do, I'll test out a treasure thing that I have not done before. And I'll use either Shadowdarks or the one in the GM Companion, depending on what seems to give a more appropriate. So how am I going to do this? Do it at advantage, or I think what I'm going to do is add. What's the easiest way to do this? Add 40 to the roll and roll twice and see what comes up. So this die I'm going to subtract 1. can use this. So like a 54 is actually 94 because I'm at, wait a minute. Did I say I'm adding 50? Adding 40. I'm adding 40 to the roll. So that's 54. So that would be like a 94. 60 is 100. That's the best roll I could possibly get. So I'll roll that twice and see what happens. So that's a 05 plus 40 is a 45. What's Microsian? I'm going to roll again. I said I was rolling twice anyway, so that's better. That's much better. That's 52 plus 40, so that would be a 92. Okay, that's what we're going to use. And on that note, the reason I wanted to roll twice is because I just feel like it should be, oh, crikey. Where's my thing, though, for it? I just feel, oh, here we go. I just feel like it should be something more significant than, than 40 gold pieces. So either a magic treasure or whatever. So I said 92 is a utility. Okay, we had a utility before. I'm going to use the GM companion this time because last time I used the main book. So utility item. And I wanted to come up with, oh, there's a lot though. I don't know if I love that as much. So on that note, I'm going to do the same thing I just did. I'm going to roll two different ways. One from the core book, one from, because the GM companion has 100 different, but it could have like a broom. I don't know that I want this to be a broom, but it sure gives a lot of variety. Ooh, 20 or 59. 59 would be horseshoes. That could be interesting because we do have a horse. Or utility 20 is a mask. Ooh, those are both interesting. So let's roll. I don't think it would be cursed for starters, right? They're not going to give us a cursed item. That would be a real jerk move. Don't be a jerk. 6. It does say it would be cursed, but I think we're just going to take the benefit. Yeah. All right. So the mask would be maybe that's my curse. I don't like it. I might have to check. Oh, this would be interesting for the horse. It would never come into play. But it would make sense for the horseshoe. You can walk on non-solid surfaces for 2 rounds at a time. That's pretty interesting. Doesn't make any sense for a mask, in my opinion. But just for fun, let's see what. Oh, it's only got 20. Okay, so let's try. Oh wait, 20. Okay, let's try this in the GM's companion, and I'll just mix and match until. Oh, okay. I actually like this one. I don't know how much it comes into play, but I do like it. And it makes sense. So I have to take the mask from one book and benefit from the other, which made total sense. We've got the horseshoes that can walk on water, or the mask that can scrying and divination magic cannot reveal anything about you. So maybe one of our characters gets a mask, and I think it's probably Thane who already has a mask. So it's gonna attach onto his helmet. That's what it is. So Thane gains a Mask of Secrecy. And that is of Dwarven make. I think that makes sense. So we're gonna do something completely different. I don't know what that's gonna be yet. On that note, I think, is there any other order of business here other than, oh, I think we should do carousing. I think we should do carousing here. I think they want to celebrate us as a group, as a party. I think we got to be careful with the carousing because it shouldn't be too negative in a situation like this. They're actually celebrating us. We're not trying to stir up a ton of trouble. Does GM's Companion have alternate carousing? Let me check. Alrighty, so here's what I decided for the carousing. I couldn't find an alternate carousing. I know I've seen one. I think what it was is I think there's something on Drive-Thru RPG that I didn't end up buying. But it seemed interesting. It might be worth a shot at some point. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the 300 gold piece carousing, but I only charged myself 200 gold pieces because that extra +1 bonus is going to come from or half of it anyway, from the dwarves celebrating us. So that's how I'm going to do it. We're going to do 1 carousing roll for the whole group. We're going to add 2 to the roll and see what that gets us. 4 + 6. Okay. Yeah, I really kind of wanted a different thing. The Thieves Guild built you for 5% of your total wealth. Gain 4 XP. So I'm down with the 4 XP carousing. Thieves Guild taking 5% of our wealth. I mean, that actually kind of makes sense. Maybe that means, instead of that being Thieves Guild, maybe that means a thief was able to take advantage of us not paying attention and stole from us during this. So 5% of, let's see what we got. Oh, I know exactly what that is. Puts me at a pretty nice even amount of money. We've got 300 gold about as a party right now, which isn't a tremendous amount. I think I've been a little stingy. Not stingy, but I could still upgrade armor. I think that's the biggest thing I need to find is, are we due for an armor upgrade for anyone? We might be close. Let's see. Abbott. Oh, man. Abbott has, I'm not finding it, hide armor. Wow. Which is kind of a house rule. It's basically leather armor. Just more of a thematic for him being a barbarian. Orgo has splint and a shield. Nura has +1 chain. We're probably not going to get better than that. And Thane has scale and a mithril shield. So unless we're going full plate with like Orgo, that's probably the only thing we can do. And I don't really see that happening. As I recall, Orgo had, let's do this. Let's have Orgo do a charisma check to see if he can get his charisma is 13, so +1. I'm going to make it difficult so he has a chance to find a plate armor in Cammadoon if he can find the right oh god, what is the thing I'm saying? Like, talk his way into getting in good enough to find a blacksmith who can do it, or who has one, or whatever. Like, do they have a plate mail here that he can get? Got it. 17 + 1. He got it. So he can buy plate mail. All right. Cool. I'm down with that. I did it a very fair way. I didn't make it easy, that's for sure. So what is my plate mail cost? And I better buy it. I think it's only going to put him up 1 AC, but we're getting so it's dangerous, so that will help. 130 gold pieces, and go from splint to plate gives him an XP. So yep, we'll spend 130 gold and be happy that we can. All right, cool. So all right, so we're all squared away with Argo upgrading to plate mail. That's awesome. And one other thing I wanted to do that I had kind of forgotten is I want to have we got that gold plated Warhammer, which Abbott's actually been using, but I think that should go to the dwarves. Like, we found this in the Dwarven Vault, and I think they would just replace it with another weapon for him. So he's gonna stick with a Warhammer, but he doesn't have the gold plated one. We'll give that to them. And that maybe that's why they gave us a luck token. Whatever. Sounds cool to me. And I think we'll be on our way. We did a couple days here, I think, through all of that. Do I have rumors? Should, huh? Maybe I should grab a rumor. While I'm here, we do have a rumor, so I'm not going to pay 2 gold for it. A secret passageway connects Meyercourt Palace to Cammadoon. Okay. Interesting. That's very relevant, because if the Ettercaps find out about it, that's not good. And that might be their way to have a... Okay. It might be their out in case they need to do something. I like it. Having said that, I kind of feel like I'm just going to go some completely different direction. I wanted to find that, I still want to find the princess that's run off. I feel like that should be maybe our next-ish move. They are way over to the southwest, but I'm tired of traveling this way. Let's go to Meyercourt. I know what I'm going to do. We're going to go over to Meyercourt, which I think is only maybe 1 hex away. So let's go to Meyercourt. I don't think I need to even travel that. Is it 3117? I hope so. Sometimes it's a little hard to tell which hex something is in. It is not. Oh no, is it 3116? No. 32 something? It must be 32. Oops. I just came from there. There's Cammadoon. Oh no. How come I can't find this? It's not 3216 or 3116. Oh, here it is. Here it is. It's 3216. Okay, so it's one hex away. So we've been to Meyercourt. Sorry, that shouldn't have taken that long. I already did cut. Here's what we want. I know what I want to do, but I can't. 90% human. I was gonna do transport. Landray or Morio, do those get me where I'm at? Those get me further from where I want. I wanted to go over to Makuza or Fakari. Darn it, that's why I came here. I'm looking at this was the dungeon with the drow. The initial dungeon with drow. Okay. Shoot, do we just have to hoof it? We can go to Landray. No, that's way those two places are both not where we want to go. So we're just going to go. 3, 2, 1. We're going to hoof it, I guess. 3, 2, 1, 5. All right. We will go 3, 2, 1, 5. Pretty sure we've already been. Warm, sunny skies. Slight wind blowing from the west. Fertile farmland. This should be nice and easy. So we'll set out in a morning time. So this is our first hex of the day. Number of large homesteads and extensive fields. Farmers throughout the day. May approach suspicious travelers. Let's see if we get any farmers. We don't. That's fine. So 3, 2, 1, 5. We want to keep going south. Let's go 3, 3, 1, 5. Oh, all right, now I have to navigate because I'm not sure I've been here. We're okay. Navigate, if you remember, is just a DC 9 intelligence check, and Nura, being a ranger, gets advantage on navigation. That's a couple of times that's happened now. That's my big dry erase board with all my hit points and stuff, but it's kind of tilted up, so as I push on my mouse pad accidentally, it topples forward at me. Whoops. All right. Horrible. All right. So we did 3, 2, 1, 6, 3, 2, 1, 5, 3, 3, 1, 5. And let's see what we have. Rosadas, overcast sky, eastern Rosadas, arduous terrain. Okay, so this will take us the rest of the day. In fact, we've got to rest during this hex, I guess, is what I would say. Let's do a random encounter check. 2, we've got a random encounter, and it's going to be, ooh, cool. A discarded, so it's just a treasure. A discarded bag of cardamom seeds. Crushed oil is worth 42 gold pieces. Okay, cardamom seeds, 42 gold. I almost feel like we've got that before, but I've now had 3 different groups, so I can't always remember what I've done with which group. If it's not something significant that I remember doing the video of, could have easily been one of my other groups, and it could be just that somebody else found some other seeds or whatever. Okay, as the mountains descend into this area, snow runoff feeds streams that flow into a dark forest. Visibility limited, and the woods are foreboding as PCs venture further inside. There is a potential combat. Okay, but this could be funky, I guess. We need I think it's a DC 12 to avoid a combat. Wiz DC 9. So who's my combat avoider before I check it? I mean, I guess it would be Thane, who's got the highest wisdom, but it shouldn't always be whoever's best at something. But Nura does most of the wilderness type stuff, so it shouldn't be her, right? The avoiding combat. So I guess it would be Thane. Is he most, because he's the most likely to notice stuff. So in that sense, I would use my highest. So Thane will be the check. A 9 is good. We can avoid this if we want. And I think I probably will. Though it could be, this could be a fun encounter if I wanted to play it out, but I think it only spells trouble. Essentially, we notice some, I think that the way that I would say this is Thane notices some bushes seem to be moving around and stuff like that, and we seem to be kind of being followed. It's dryads. So those are kind of the tree nymph things, right, that are it says they're trying to stir up trouble essentially, and I just don't think we want to deal with that. So since I made the check, I think we're going to avoid that. Having said that, now we're at a spot where, do we rest here? We'd have to check every 2 hours for random encounters if we rest here. This is not a great place to rest. But we're going to have to do that anyway, right? Every 2 hours. So we did 4 hours. So we do another 12 hours. Oh, no, another 8 hours. So 4 checks. Let's do that. We'll do 4 checks. That'll put us at the end of the hex and pretty much in a spot to need to rest. 1, and only a 1, remember, gets us an encounter here. So we're fine. We would now rest, and we would need to continue to make checks, though I don't think that I would make all the checks if I find a decent camp. So let's do that. We're going to try to rest now because we made it through. We can't make it through another hex today. So let's do our camp here. And I think I have camping rules. Check for safety. Wiz 18 is safe, whatever that means, and under 9 means we would be surprised. But because of the way that we're in a hex that you check every 2 hours, that's another 12 hours. We rest for 8, but there's also 4 hours of eating and that sort of thing. So we need to find a safe camp. Thane is going to have to be our camp person now, huh? No, because well, this is silly. Nura would get advantage, but I think it's going to be Thane. We'll have Thane do it. So he's got my best bonus. He'll be my new camper. All right. So what I'm going to do is if I get a high wisdom, I'm going to reduce the amount of checks I do. I do not get a high wisdom. So if we have an encounter, we will be surprised. Thane is not used to this new role of being the person to find camps. We have 6 checks. And if we have a check that's a combat, we may be surprised. And we do immediately out the gate. What is it going to be? Ooh. Okay. We're going to find out that it is going to be a combat. We're going to be surprised. It's going to be... Ooh. I wish I hadn't ruled that. It is going to be a large group that gets surprise on us. So I think on that note, we better stop here, and next session will be a little cliffhanger. We will be attacked in our sleep, essentially. All right, we will see you then and see if we can survive.